Serafina and I were at a entrepreneurial book club where Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous. What?
I just had a visual. I just had a visual.
I was proud of it.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Happy Friday to you. Thanks for joining us in the Lemonadio studio. What a freaking treat.
It's my treat. Happy Friday.
Oh, my gosh. Whenever I talk to Dawn, you've got amazing people on your team.
Absolutely.
You
I'm
really
blessed.
do.
I couldn't do it without the team.
Honestly,
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into just being a regular person, but to be a Rep X.
That's, you know what? No one's ever said that, but it's true. My
Right?
life is all over the place.
It's got to be a sitcom at some point. Do you like sit with your wife and you're like, we'll schedule a date next week on a Wednesday
and we have to get away
at 11 in the afternoon, in the morning.
It's fascinating. I'm blessed in many ways to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, my life it's a journey.
Very cool. Dave
Yes.
Sampson, my favorite people.
He's a great man.
Where have
Mr.
you been,
Chairman.
buddy? You need to get over here. We need to revisit. He was in the early days of when we started Lemonadio.
Okay.
Our studio was on the other side of the basement. We are getting ready to move into our own actual building. This place is growing and we've outgrown our boxes and basement dwellings. And I'm very excited for all of the new stuff that is coming up. But I feel like we need to talk today about, you've got Big Nick's Ride coming up.
Yes.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years ago, July 23rd, 2009, my life changed forever. We lost Nicholas, 21-year-old, born and raised Cape Cod, fighting for freedom in Afghanistan. That was the worst day of my life and my family, and that's what happens. That's the price of freedom. And here we are 15 years later. And Big Nick's Ride has kept us going.
Yeah.
And strengthen us. And we've done so many things because of it. So it's special to talk about.
Mhm.
But yeah, the price of freedom is not free.
I can't imagine what that's like as a parent losing a child, but also the other children, like your other family members.
Very good point. A lot of people think about parents or the husband or the wife or the children of a fallen hero. But yeah, the siblings, my other children, Alex was 19 and my twins, Elizabeth and Ashlyn, were 15 and their big brother never came home.
And that's a freshman in high school. Think about like everything is happening for you at that point in time. And in a way, you kind of lose your parent because your parent's so consumed with grief.
How did you know that?
Because you just do. I mean, we've lost a child. It was an infant, but it's still the same. My children felt very alone at that time.
Yeah, you're just trying to survive. No one teaches you what to do. And imagine, for my twins who were at DY at the time.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing their brother being waked in the gym.
Yeah. And how are they now today with this? Do they feel like it's so much about, do they feel like it's a celebration? Do they feel part of it?
Yes.
Is it a lot for them?
Yeah, no, we've grown.
I mean, it's been 15 years and I feel like grief is just kind of displaced. It doesn't hurt as much, but it hurts every day, just different.
Yes, that's well said. We've come to honor it. And it happened for me during Ride 8. So I always struggled with the why. Like, why did God take Nick? Why? Thousands have served. And why did he take Nick? And at the end of year 8, Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen, thousands of people, motorcycles. We pulled into DY High School where
the bizarre moment. You're like, what was the aha moment? It was here.
It was right there. And I got off my motorcycle and I was crying.
Yeah.
Because it's very emotional to see and feel it all. And a Gold Star dad, Paul Monty, came over to me. He lost his son, Jared. And that's the song, I Drive Your Truck by Lee Brice. He was driving his son's truck in Big Nick's Ride.
Ugh.
And he pulled up and he said, Steve, what's wrong? And I said, I just don't know why. And he said, you don't know why? And I said, no, Paul. And it's slowly killing me. And he said, come with me. And and he put me on the tailgate of his son's truck, the Lee Bryce famous song
Hysterical.
Truck.
Yeah.
2 guys sitting on the tailgate. He looked at me and he said, Steve, I know why. And he said, God saw Nick doing good things and he needed to take him to do great things. And this like heat went through my body.
Yeah.
And it's helped me see that there's a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
And look what we've been able to do.
Yeah. I mean, 15 years of Big Nick's ride. Talk about the ride a little bit. I'm sure everyone is different, emotionally different. The people are different. The times are different. Everybody's going through different stuff. You survived COVID. You did all these, weather-wise.
Yes.
I mean, you've done it in pretty much any condition at this point.
We have. We'll never stop. Thanks to the volunteers, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
They're all volunteers. Like there's no one getting paid. It's a nonprofit that was started, with this tragedy. But it's a 35-mile ride. It starts at the Barnstable County Sheriff's Office.
Mm-hmm.
We surround the prison with 1,000 motorcycles.
That must be exciting for them.
Yeah. And I remember Sheriff Cummings said, Steve, don't worry about that. I want them to hear the bikes.
Right.
And I want them to hear the sound of freedom. And maybe next time they won't make a mistake.
I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty special. So it starts out very serious. We have, Pledge of Allegiance, national anthem. We have speeches. We have some of Nick's Marines that have made it, and we have a flyover, and then we take off. And it's 35 miles of 1,000 motorcycles, and thousands.
Just the vibration alone must just be like,
it's
pretty cool.
It's special, and to see the people, it's like a 35-mile parade.
Yeah.
So there's people lining the route right from the start at the Sheriff's Department, all along General MacArthur Boulevard, all along the Cape Cod Canal.
Now, did you ride before? Is this why this was like you tried to meld something of your life in with this?
That's a great question. No, I never rode a motorcycle in my life.
Okay, so where did the motorcycle come from?
That's a great point. It was a man named Ben Perry. Ben Perry, a Mashpee police dispatcher, a former Yarmouth firefighter dispatcher, and a U.S. Marine motorcycle rider.
Okay.
He came to me in my worst days, when it just happened. He said, Steve, we want to do a ride for Nick. And I said, Ben, I don't even know how to ride. He said, just say yes.
Yeah.
And they taught me how to ride a motorcycle.
That's kind of cool.
In a parking lot. I got my permit, my license.
Did you think a former police officer would be indoctrinated into this weird gang, like this weird biker gang?
It's
kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. And but I remember the first ride. Right, I had got my permit, my license. I didn't even have a motorcycle. Someone let me borrow his. And I'm doing the ride, and at that time it was 300 motorcycles.
Yeah,
and I was like 301.
And I was the last. I'm not gonna fall off this because I am not gonna do this in front of people.
I was the last bike, and I had never been on the road. I was just in a parking lot.
Oh wow!
So it was something. And now, 15 years later, I lead the 1,000 bikes.
Yeah,
and we've raised over $500,000-$600,000. We've given every penny away to somebody somewhere.
Incredible.
It's become incredible. And it honors all of the fallen, right? We've lost 16 from Cape Cod.
Amazing.
In this longest war.
It's awful.
And we thank those that made it home, the veterans that put their lives on the lines from all wars. This is the chance for people to come out and show their love and respect and thank them. A lot of the veterans are on motorcycles. A lot of them are on the side of the roads. And they've come to me and said, Steve, you've changed our life, especially the Vietnam vets. They felt like they weren't thanked. And now they feel so grateful. They ride in the ride. They stand on the side. And one of the Vietnam vets' wife told me, you've made him feel proud again.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. It's one of those moments. Prior service, and I get to host at our National Cemetery Memorial Day. And it's really incredible to see the amount of prior service that come from all walks of life, from all over the world for this wonderful ceremony that we put on.
Yes.
And it's just really incredible to bring so many very amazing veterans that we have here on the Cape together on these moments, on these occasions to get together.
Absolutely.
That was solemn. This is more of a celebration of
Yes,
life.
the beginning is solemn.
Yeah.
The ride is a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
Pride, sadness, everything. People saluting, crying, babies on the side, in carriages.
How do you mentally prepare for like
That's very
such a
hard.
roller coaster?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a massive operation. So you're thinking, we want to make sure everybody's safe. You're remembering, the worst day of life. So you go from pride to sad, and I'm riding a Harley, and
Yeah.
and I think you just make it through. The people give us the strength. I can remember people saluting. I can remember people, crying. All the sights. The state police helicopter flies above us.
I mean, those are magnanimous moments. What do you say to the people that are struggling in their moments that are not these wonderful celebration moments? These parents that have lost people that are struggling to just do a routine. You've got to be a routine person. I mean, you're fit, you're a former police officer. There's got to be a routine in there that gets you through your day.
You just never give up. Stay positive. You're not alone.
Yeah.
That was a big feeling. We felt alone. That's how Big Nick's Ride started. So Ben Perry had the idea, but during the funeral, and I'm in the, funeral car with Lisa, Nick's mom, and my kids, Alex, Ashlyn, and Elizabeth. We're devastated. We're in the procession.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard the sound of a motorcycle go by me. And then I heard another sound. We were being escorted. I don't remember seeing them, but we were being escorted.
Yeah.
And I looked and I said, "Do you hear that?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "We're not alone." And it was the sound of the motorcycles that made us feel we weren't alone, that we'll get through this.
Yeah.
And it's the people of Cape Cod and beyond that.
We really have a community unlike any other.
I can remember the sights as we were going through, the people coming out of their homes, standing on the side, the workers at motels on Route 28, like bowing their heads. It's just, it shows what the good in human beings.
Yeah.
From all walks of life, like
Yeah.
you said. And not only the military community. Remember, 99% are not military.
Mm-hmm.
It gives others the chance to show their love and gratitude for freedom.
Mm-hmm. Whew, it's some heavy stuff, but we've got another ride coming up. It's next weekend already.
Yes. July 21st. It's always right around July 23rd.
I've noticed you've built kind of a weekend around the thing because I saw you guys over at Sea Dog, and I'm like, what is this? Now we got a weekend celebration.
Yeah. It's Big Nick's Ride weekend. So we start Friday. We ride a polka run on a Saturday all around. People start coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
They're staying in motels. The longest was New Zealand. A gentleman from
a
guy from New Zealand came and he said, "Steve, I heard about Nick. I want to ride a Harley in America, and I want to see how you treat your fallen." And he rode with us.
How cool.
Really special.
Yeah.
His name is Anaru, and he's a soldier. And at night, we always spend sunset with Nick. So on the day of that ride, thousands of people, but at sunset, there might be 10 of us.
Yeah.
And we went to visit Nick, and this gentleman prayed, and then he did a New Zealand war dance on Nick's grave.
How amazing. Honestly, that is just stuff that you don't see, and it's really incredible that you've brought that to the Cape.
Yes.
Nick brought that to the Cape.
He did, and these others that helped, Ben Perry, Rick Thompson, Cat Wilson, Dawn, everybody that's keeping it going.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't planned, but maybe it was.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't know what the plan is. God, we don't know what the plan is. Yeah. Tom, Jim, Melanie, thank you guys so much. Melanie sending Mr. X, sending lots of love for Nick and your family. Cindy, Laurel, Diana, Susan, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We've got Rep X in the studio today. He's wearing his dad hat right now. We're talking about Big Nick's Ride. Yes. And I think it's important to talk about the hats as a human. I'm really glad to have this conversation with you because I I'm out and about. I hear all of the things, what people's conversations are. I got to host you in your political realm of things just a little bit when
Yes.
we had a conversation with other reps, and it was enlightening. Also, this one, here's a minute to talk. Perfectly nails it in a minute. I appreciate your candor. I didn't have to buffer him. I didn't have to tell him or prompt him. He knew this is how much time I have. I'm going to go. Former radio gal here appreciating this
I remember
very
that,
much.
yes.
So I was like, all right, good. Keeping it clean. But everybody has an opinion. Obviously, we're in such a diverse political spectrum right now, and we're not going to get super political on this by any means. Whatever your beliefs are, but it's really nice to have a conversation with you as a human.
Yes.
It's very difficult when you look on social media to have people look at something and then judge you immediately. And we're out here doing our best. We're smiling, we're nodding, we're shaking babies' hands. We're out in the community trying to figure out the pulse of the community so that we can do our jobs.
Amen.
Our jobs are very different, but we're both out here doing community jobs. So when you see you flash your gorgeous smile and that $1 million face, when people say, oh, well, he's just there for the photo or he's just there for this, I really want you to understand that this person right here deeply cares about the things that are going on in our community. It's not just a social media flash in the pan. So maybe you can talk about some of the things that you've been working on.
Yeah, I'm blessed to do this work. 40 years of being a police officer and now 4 years as a state representative.
What the hell made you want to get into politics? Because I'm like,
yeah, I don't like the politics. I like the service.
Okay.
It's serving others. So it's kind of a natural progression to go from policing to this. You serve others. You believe in what you're doing. And what was the moment was the murder of Sean Gannon and the shooting of K9 Nero. Okay, that I sent,
being on the force at that time.
I sent them on that mission. That was me. And I stood there while we lost Sean, and I stood there while we brought Nero out of the house with a bullet in his head, bleeding to death, and nobody would help him because it was against the law. That was the moment that propelled me to leave the job I loved, run for office in some world that I've never done.
Yeah, and I've never heard this story.
Oh, yeah. That was the moment that I said, this is wrong. We had someone with 125 prior crimes out on the street selling drugs, illegally armed. He shot and killed my brother officer, 32-year-old wonderful human being. He shot a police dog, and he ruined lives that day, that person. And that I had to run to make a difference. And we did. We made Nero's Law, which is the law of the Commonwealth, where now if a police dog is injured in the line of duty, 18,000 paramedics in Massachusetts have been trained in how to save its life.
Amazing.
Put it in an ambulance, treat it, and save that hero's life. That's turning tragedy into triumph. And it kind of comes with Nick's story too, like these horrible things that happen, try to turn them to something better. My life is about service and being a good human being and living worthy of the sacrifices made for us. It's really not about politics. It's about service.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to do it, and I'm blessed to do it.
That was the day Cape Cod came, like in silence, came together. I remember having to go and do a morning show the next day. And having to take these phone calls. And that's what we did. We took people's phone calls of grief.
Really?
How did this happen? How did just every questions and sadness and remembrance and what do we do with this?
Yes.
It was an awful day on the air.
Awful day. And so what do you do with it?
Right.
What we did, we made a law. It's the law of the land. It's the law in Rhode Island. It's the law in New Hampshire, Connecticut. Because of us, we built $1 million training center in Sean's memory in the back of Yarmouth Police Headquarters.
Amazing.
And so it's turning tragedy into triumph. But it's all about service and helping others. And I lead from my heart.
Yeah.
It comes from the heart. That's how I was raised.
Well, going into service is one thing. Taking on the service of the people, that's a different story.
It is.
This has been your biggest platform yet of people of all things. I feel like police work kind of set the ground for being able to rise above.
That's very well said, because I thought the police world was a big world, and it
Yeah.
is, but no, this is bigger.
It's everyone.
Yeah,
It's everybody's opinion.
yes. I
Like,
represent 45,000 people in the Fighting Fifth Barnstable district,
Yeah.
right? From Barnstable to Buzzards Bay.
right?
And the rest of my day today, I'll be working with them, trying to help them.
Yeah.
And, taking heat sometimes.
Right.
But most people realize that I'm there because I believe in trying to do good.
Yeah.
And if they don't know me, I try to get them to know me, and then support the mission. Politics is fascinating,
Yeah.
and it should be a good thing. You should think of politician as, wow, that's a special position to be
Well, it
in.
is a special
It is.
position. Nobody wants it though, because what the hell is happening? Susan says, Steve X for president. Joni, hi, good morning. Jim says live streaming Big Nick's ride again this year.
Oh, that's
Stay
right.
tuned. Oh, I'll be looking forward to watching that for sure. Talk to me about some of your first days when you decide to run, you win, it's elation. Oh my gosh, they want me. They really want me. And then you go and you know nothing.
And
How scary is that?
It was January 6th. I'm getting sworn in the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, where I always say freedom was born. We're the ones, Massachusetts men and women, started America.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm in the people's house. And I'll never forget, I walked in, and the ranger, the park ranger that protects us, and the state police, I had, really didn't know where I was
I'm
going.
here for the game.
Yeah. And I'm getting sworn in, but it was COVID. So no one was allowed in the building except the new 16 people. So I'm walking in.
I think I would have liked that better.
Yeah,
though. I
it
feel like
was-
it would have been less stressful.
It was special, but I'll never
Yeah.
forget what he said. He said, "Sir, welcome to your new house." And I'll never forget it. And I walked in, and then Kip Diggs came in,
Ugh,
right?
Love him.
That's my friend, Kip Diggs. We share the loss of a son. He lost his son in a tragic car crash. We both ran for office. We both were elected, and we both sat together in the people's house alone. No one was there yet. And we looked up and we said, how did we get here?
Right? What did we do wrong? Why? Why?
No, we were really proud. And Kip said it's our sons that helped us get here. And he said,
Ooh, I just got chills.
yeah, and he said, his son said, "Dad, get to work."
Yeah. Wow.
And then you do your work and you meet people from all over. There's 160 state representatives serving 8 million people.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting with people from Lowell, Springfield, Northampton. Everybody has their different things and feelings and emotions they bring to their jobs.
Yeah.
And that's what government is about. And to work together when you can to make good decisions. And when you don't agree, you diplomatically disagree and get things done as best as you can.
Is there a time where you were like, I'm so out of my league right here? What? I don't know. I didn't know that. Sorry. I'll take it back.
Yeah, no, there was never that. But there was a time I serve on some very big committees: public safety, veterans, mental health and substance abuse. Which is
very
huge,
needed to be
yes.
changed.
Yeah, so I'm in that world.
Yep.
And the Ways and Means Committee. I'm on the most powerful committee where all the money comes from. So I hear a lot, I learn a lot. And one of the gentlemen said, "Steve, you got to stop thinking like a cop." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're in these meetings and you're trying to get things done and move on to the next one."
Yeah.
And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, that's not how this works all the time. It takes time. And there's 7,000 bills that we have."
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're coming into the third quarter and you're like, I haven't been watching the game. What's happening? Catch me up.
And you just serve with your heart. And we worked hard and we made Nero's Law, as a rookie with the help of all my colleagues. We made a law.
Well, I gotta say,
really
I feel like the Cape gets forgotten a lot in the Boston realm of things. And I'm glad that we've got you guys fighting for us to be, hi, we're here.
Yeah. And
we're on the outside, but we're still here.
You're right. Because the cities, that's where most people live, right? So Boston, Lowell, Lawrence, New Bedford, Springfield, Worcester, there's, hundreds of thousands of people. But the Cape, we stay strong, our delegation, and we work with others to get things done.
Cindy wants to know if you see yourself pursuing a higher office.
I do.
Okay.
But my work is not done in the fighting fifth.
Yeah.
We have to do my job in this district, but I'm always willing to serve others, and we need good people
Yeah.
to serve that are there for others, not for themselves.
Well, you know what? I feel like everybody's heart is in the right place, but I feel like the hurdle that people are coming across is they're uneducated about what to do. Where do I start? Where do I go? How do I jump in? That seems complicated. I'm afraid I'll be embarrassed. There are a whole host of reasons why people don't get into politics or wade into it or want to talk about it, because when
Yes.
you don't know about something, you avoid it.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to teach them because it's fascinating. But there is negative. I've had threats to me. I've had horrible letters written about my son Nicholas, who
Well,
was killed.
everybody's a tough person behind their
Yeah.
computer screen or in
Yep.
their own home, but when you are actually meeting people in real life and in person, it's a very different space.
And I will look them in the eye, face to face, if I do get to meet them, and and try to educate them that you can't write these horrible emails and letters disrespecting a fallen hero,
Yeah.
disrespecting my children like they do. And one of them said to me when I encountered them nicely in public, out in public, and he said, "Well, Steve, that's just part of politics." I'll never forget. And I said, "No, it's not."
Yeah, it doesn't have to be dirty like that.
No, just like, hey, I'm a good person. We're trying our best. Don't disrespect my family. And it's not part of politics. And
Yeah.
that's why people don't do it.
Yeah.
But I've got to encourage people to get involved, good people to serve others that are there with a servant's heart to help others. You'll be very grateful that you've done it. If you can do it, we need you to do it.
And start at your town level, start at your school level.
Yes.
Honestly, just begin somewhere to start learning what's going on in this small space. And then you can add to it if you want to start somewhere. But I know I've got a few people that would be really good
You do? Okay.
at jumping in somewhere. And I keep telling them, like, you just got to start small.
Yes.
And just learn stuff and go to
Yes.
town hall. It's so accessible. They're so wonderful over there.
Yeah.
Mashpee, Burnsville, any town you're in, just go to your town hall, start talking to the people.
And when you, I believe life is not about money, right? You need money, obviously.
Everybody does,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's about service. It really
Yeah.
is. At the end, after 40 years of policing, my last day, they had people come and visit at the police station. It was like a live wake. I'm standing there, and there were hundreds of people that stood in line to shake my hand and like thank me for something that I got to do in 40 years that affected them.
That's incredible.
It was really special.
Because I don't remember yesterday. So when people bring up memories, I'm like, oh, I did do that. Good. I'm
Right.
glad you were happy.
And it can
Right?
be, hey, you arrested me when I
Yeah,
was young,
sorry.
and you squared me away.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, so it taught me that life is about service, and now
Mhm.
I'm able to keep serving, and I love it.
Yeah. Talk to me about working with some of these families that you work with. I mean, you're in the community, some of the Gold Star families. I know
Yes.
that they're 16 on Cape Cod.
16 in this war, right? I have the list right here, and the town of Mashpee lost 5 of the 16, and we've all become part of a family that we never wanted to be part of, and everybody handles it differently. Some are quiet and they just can't go in public. Some, like me, I feel it's my mission to stand up for the fallen and educate others. And remember, these people are heroes.
Mhm.
They really are heroes.
Yeah.
The more I've learned about that summer of 2009 from Nick's Marines that made it home, that are now 35, we're lucky that hundreds more weren't killed. This is the price of freedom. And so I try to help the Gold Star families. We have the Jeeps. So thanks to Dawn and Michelle, the beginning of the ride is Jeeps. And in those Jeeps are Gold Star families that can see and feel the thousands of people like saluting and cheering and crying. And it makes them stronger.
Mhm.
And that's part of life. Like, life is short and it's precious. And, I know that. I lost a son. I lost a brother officer. And we have to do everything we can while we're here to live worthy and be a good person.
I want to talk about some of the things you brought here
yes.
today.
Yeah. This is quite a poster that Dawn had framed. You know, it kind of tells Nick's life, his DY life. You know, they called him the mayor of
Go
DY.
Dolphins.
Yeah, because he had the ability to get along with everyone. That's what they told us. You learn a lot afterwards. Then his, why he became a Marine was September 11th, the attack on America. He was 12. He said, "Dad, I'm going to fight for my country." And then, the horrible day that happened. And in 3 years, all of his medals, he was an infantry Marine, 6 foot, 200 pound, wonderful young man. And we lost him too early. And there's a quote that I always love. It comes from President Obama, who said this at Camp Lejeune to Nicholas and all the Marines. He went to Camp Lejeune and he met Nicholas and all the
Storied
Marines.
life.
And he said, each of you has your own story. And that story is now part of the history of the United States of America, a nation that exists only because free men and women have bled for it, from the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of Anbar, from the mountains of Korea to the streets of Kandahar. You teach us that the price of freedom is great. Your sacrifice should challenge all of us, every single American, to ask, what can we do to be better citizens?
It's incredible. Jen Long says, it's okay. I will forever love this man. Know him my whole life. Go DY.
I know Jen, and yes, God bless her.
Yeah, it's okay if civilians, you want to salute the riders. You go right ahead. You do what you want to do. I'm so over what's right and what's wrong in that realm of things. For gestures, if you're not prior service, you do what you want to do. You're a person.
Yes.
Get it done.
Here's another picture I did bring. This is what we call the last hug. So that's Nick and I, and he was getting on the bus at Camp Lejeune with 1,000 men, young men, to go to the plains to Afghanistan. And we hugged each other, and he was crushing me. And I had a coin in my hand. It was the footprints in the sand prayer coin, and I gave it to Nick. And we hugged, and then he walked away, and I never saw him again. I've never seen his body. I've never heard his voice. But after he died on July 23rd, about a week later, a Marine came from Afghanistan to my home and he put that coin in my hand. He said it was in Nick's pocket when he died. So I know that God carried Nick.
Such heavy stuff. Such a wonderful way for you to remember his life and to grow, to just push forward and to do great things from that space.
Yes.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing all of this with us today. We have tissues. Oh. Let's talk about positive stuff like the Greek Fest.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. No, I honestly, thank you for sharing this with me. I have not heard some of these small stories. And I'm really, I can't be the only one hearing these things for the first time. And your sacrifice is great, but what you're doing with it is greater. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's my honor.
We did not think that we were going to get in our feelings here. I'm trying to keep it together. Good morning, Miss Emily. Good morning, Miss Cindy. Thank you for joining us right now. We've got Rep X in the house with us. We're talking about Nick. We're talking about his life. We're talking about those last moments in which Steven got to see his son and say goodbye. And here we are 15 years later.
Yes.
And how much money have you raised from Big Nick's Ride?
Oh, geez. I think it's
ballpark it
800,000.
I mean, that's pretty incredible that we're almost here. Wouldn't it be great? We'll have 1 million probably this year, next year, and somewhere around there.
Yeah, and it's important that people know we give every penny away. Like, we're a all volunteer nonprofit managed by the Cape Cod Foundation, which they're fantastic.
Yep.
So every penny that you donate, it's going to go somewhere, and we give out most of it on Nick's birthday. So on February 12th every year, like this year, we gave out $35,000 to 35 different groups
Amazing.
all over the Cape, whether it's scholarships or veteran groups or animal. We're big with animal therapy. Part of our mission is to stop veteran suicide. You know, I'm wearing the 22 kill ring.
Yep.
22 veterans take their lives every day in America.
That's staggering.
It's horrible and it's wrong. And we've got to help them. So we raise money. We put veterans on horses. We get them service dogs. We also let them go to Sandy Neck Beach. It's called Sandy Neck for Vets. So if you're a veteran and you want to go to Sandy Neck Beach and four-wheel and have peace and healing, we'll pay for that permit.
Amazing.
Those are just some of the things that we're doing to help others. And it's part of Nick's journey and a Gold Star family. And it's part of being a politician too, in a way. It's about service and giving back and being charitable and helping others. And that's how I was raised, and that's how I'll always be.
How do you take care of Steven?
Uh,
Where are you in all of this?
Yeah, it's sometimes I can get out of balance because it's just constant. People constantly asking for help. And
is it your wife? Is it your family? Is it your
for me?
Like where?
For me, it's motorcycle riding. It's become very therapeutic. As we said, I never rode in my life. Now I ride.
I love
all the
that
time.
story.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, I love riding.
Try new things, everybody.
Yeah, riding motorcycles, running. I like to run. I carry the American flag everywhere I run in races. Walking in the woods with my dog Zeus, spending time with my family, Denise, boating. Sometimes we get out on a boat. Try to do something to clear your head so you can be strong to keep serving.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I miss that part. I get swept up in it a lot. So
Yes.
I'm always curious when I talk to people that are highly functioning, highly serving, being out there in the community. What do you do for you?
Yeah.
Because making that line of separation is very difficult sometimes.
It can be, and I can feel it when I need a break.
Yeah.
And then I'll just do what we do and come back stronger.
Awesome. I really appreciate you sharing all of this with us, the human side of you today. I think it's really important that people see that, especially as we're going into re-election.
Yeah, this is who we are. And
how do you feel about it? This with the political climate being what it is?
Yeah, I myself
dig into local.
Yeah, I stay focused on my district. We are the fighting 5th Barnstable district. I need to be reelected to keep the mission going. Federal, state politics is one thing, and then local politics, and then there's national. But I really stay focused on my job and my mission, and I try to help others become motivated to run for office because it's really special, and we need good people to serve others.
Talk to some of our younger viewers today about why it's so important for them to get registered to vote, and might be a little bit nervous about it. My daughter is voting for the first time this year.
Yeah.
She was immediately very excited.
Yeah.
But not all of her friends are.
You should. Everybody should register to vote. Everybody should vote. I have people that tell me, "Oh, we don't even vote," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Well, it's not worth it. It doesn't matter. It does matter. And there's people like Nick and Alicia and Paul Conlon and Jerry DeConto. They died for freedom. And their parents miss them. So if you have the right to vote, you've got to do it. And you vote for someone you believe in. It doesn't have to be party. Just who do you believe in? Do your research. Don't just follow social media. Like, learn about the candidate.
Yeah.
And support that person. And whether it's locally, state, or national, like, we can make a difference when we stick together to do good things.
I love it. Anything else you want to say to us before you leave? I mean, we're 9 days away from Big Nick's ride?
Yeah, it's going to be special. We have people coming from all over America. And I guess another moment that comes to mind, the power of this ride. There was another night at the end of the night, at sunset, we go to visit Nick. And there were 15, when we pulled up on our bikes, there were 15 of Nick's Marines already there. And they were visiting with Nick, and they were drinking and smoking cigars at his grave. And I walked up, and they called me Papa X, and they said, Papa X, and then I was just quiet, and they told me stories I've never heard in my life. They felt regret that they made it home and Nick didn't. And I told them, no, we're grateful that you did, and live your lives. And one of them said, Mr. X, you always thank us, and we need to thank you. And I said, why would you thank me? I don't need to be. He said, no, sir, because you bring us back together again. Because these guys were at 19, 20, and 21.
Right. Your
fighting
life
for
barely
freedom.
just started.
Yeah. And now they're 30. They have kids, and they come back for Big Nick's Ride. They visit, they stay with us, and they bond again. And they feel the love. And I just remember that moment where they have so much that they live with, and they're grateful to be back together again.
That's special.
It is. So the ride is bigger than we even think.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone to ride or stand on the side or come to Sea Dog's Pub afterwards and celebrate. We have live bands. We somber in the beginning, we bittersweet during the ride, and at the end, it's time to celebrate freedom and be proud to be an American and love that red, white, and blue. It means more than anyone would ever know. And I want you to have a Big Nick's Ride wristband.
Oh, look at me.
I want you to have one of Nick's emblems. Remember his last words? He got to call home, and he was screaming in the phone from Afghanistan. He told me how bad it was, and he couldn't wait to come home. He said, Dad, I just can't wait to come home. And then he got on the phone with his mom, and Marines don't tell moms that. And he said, Mom, don't worry about me. I'm living the dream. And we've never heard his voice or seen him since that day. So this is one of his emblems. And then the last thing is when Nick was getting on that bus, 1,000 Marines getting on the buses to go to the plane, to go to war. As they stepped up to the bus, there was a veteran at each door, and he had the piece of an American flag. And I stood there, and every Marine that stepped up, the veteran would say, this is a piece of the American flag. Don't forget where you come from, son. We love you. So I cut out a piece of the flag for you.
Thank you. This means a lot.
Keep doing what you do. It's important.
Thank you.
Amen.
This is heavy. I'm not going to cry today. He's trying to get me to cry today. I'm not going to do it. I am going to just continue to tell you to do something, whatever it is today, tomorrow, the next day, Monday, if you're one of those procrastinators. It's okay, but do something for somebody else, please, this weekend, whatever it is. If you're interested in Big Nick's Ride, please just go to bignicksride.org and get involved in some way, shape, or form. If this is not your space, find a space for yourself and do something great, because we all need you. All of Cape Cod does.
Amen.
Thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to this next weekend for a big celebration at the end over at Sea Dog. And if you want to donate, same thing.
Absolutely. bignicksride.org. Anything that you donate will be put into a fund, nonprofit, all volunteer, and somewhere down the line, someone will be benefiting from that. And I would also say, live your dreams. That was Nick's last words. Don't worry about me, Mom. I'm living the dream. I'm hoping that he is, and someday I'll see him again. But until then, we have to live our dreams and help others, serve others, live worthy of the sacrifices made for freedom.
God bless America.
Amen.
We will see you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you Monday morning here. Rep X, thank you so much.
My honor.
I cannot wait to see you at another event. He'll be popping up all over the place. So now, if you've seen him here today, go up to him, talk to him. If you've got questions about absolutely anything, ask the man.
Yes.
Before you decide to prejudge. And we will talk to you shortly. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Awesome.
Hank is coming up next. If you're listening, lemonadio.com. Thank you so much for joining us. bignicksride.org is where you find out more information.
Hoorah.